realizing that other people also have a zone of genius. And when multiple zone of geniuses come together, that's when the real magic happens. Well, hello, beautiful friends of the universe. Welcome back to the University of Why, a podcast that's a reflection of you. I'm your host, Dr. Sonia Chopra, and together we are going to explore the core motivations behind our choices, the purpose behind our pursuits, and the beliefs that shape who we are. Today, I want to do a solo episode with you guys. I've been thinking a lot about where I started on my journey during my whole kind of awakening and path of self-development. And I will have to say the biggest struggle that I had in the beginning was the concept of time. And time is one of those things that I hear people talk about all the time. I don't have enough time. There's no time to do this. There's no time to do that. And I even catch myself still saying it because sometimes I can overpack my schedule. But when people feel like they're stuck in a rut or they don't know what to do next, and they always say that there's not enough time, I want to talk about that today. I want to unpack that because I do feel like when we are very intentional about our time and pay attention to the things that we are doing and how they are making us feel and paying attention to that feeling, I'll always talk about that feeling. That feeling is what's going to help guide us. And maybe that's unique to me. I don't know, but I feel like it could be really helpful to talk about it. So today I want to go over 10 ways to really look at time to see if we can start creating more time in our lives for maybe that passion project, or maybe some rest, or maybe time with friends and loved ones. Are you feeling drained by doing anything? And can we be doing something else with that time? So I love to find pockets of time and being really efficient with my time. And I'm not trying to say you have to push it. Instead, it's the opposite. We want to find ways that we can feel more in flow. So that is what I started to do at the beginning. Now, I'm a busy mom of three. I have my own dental practice. I started that and built it. Now I've sold it, but I still have to run it. There's nobody really managing the day to day. And so things really haven't changed in that respect. But I also have this side hustle, this online business that has now its own legs. And so essentially, I'm a mom of three. I have two pretty big businesses. And I still like to have fun and I still want to have fun. And I want to make sure that I have time to connect with my friends and my family and my loved ones and just still enjoy my life. But how do you do that when time is only so much, right? There's only 24 hours in a day. So I want to take you back to where I started. And I really hope that it helps you understand where you can get started. So, number one, time hack is really understanding your zone of genius. You really should be doing what you love and do best and delegate the rest. Some people may call that lazy. I call it being strategic. And so I had read, I don't know if any of you follow EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System. I read a book called Traction years ago by Gino Wickman. And one of the exercises in this book is called Delegate and Elevate. Okay. You basically take a sheet of paper and you cut it into 4 quadrants, or you fold it. You can fold it, you can draw a vertical line and a horizontal line, and then you make 4 quadrants on the paper. And in the upper left quadrant, you write down everything that you do that you love to do and that you're great at doing. And in the upper right quadrant, you write down all the things that you do that you like to do, not love, but like, and you're good at. In the bottom left corner, you're going to write everything that you don't like to do, but you're good at. And in the bottom right corner, you're going to write everything you don't like to do and you're bad at. Okay. So this can be personal. this can be professional. And when you are really starting to pay attention to how you are feeling, you can create this list, I think, more beautifully than if you're not paying attention to that feeling. So pay attention to the feeling. And you may not be able to think of all the things in the moment, but have this list handy, have this paper handy somewhere, or maybe make a few and post them in different places and start paying attention. Is there something that you're doing that you're like, ugh, I hate doing this? Or, oh, I really enjoyed doing this. Pay attention to those things. And then from there, we need to take everything that's not in your top left quadrant. So everything that is not something that you love to do and that you're really good at doing, we need to try to find a way to either minimize, delegate, or eliminate, really, or maybe restructure to a point where you do like it. So there's ways to, the things all still have to get done, right? But how do we make it work for you in a better way, right? Okay. So for example, I'm really good at cleaning my house. And this was actually the first thing that I did, but I realized it was taking me 8 hours, like a full day, a full Sunday to clean my house, to scrub the toilets, to mop the floors, to get all the crumbs off the countertop. It took me 8 hours. And I was like, I'm really good at this, but man, do I hate it. And I decided, okay, I'm going to get a cleaning lady. And all of a sudden, I got 8 hours a week back into my life. That means I could have, maybe slept in a little bit longer, read a book, go out with friends, had a coffee date, worked on a passion project, done something with my kids. All of a sudden, 8 hours opened up for me in a week. And that was my first lesson. Getting a cleaning lady was actually my first lesson in time and realizing, oh, wow, okay, I could actually maybe even spend that time creating something or doing more work or maybe working at the practice a little bit more. And I don't even have to do that much to be able to pay for that. And so all of a sudden it kind of took away the guilt that I had that I'm supposed to be the one doing this. Like, no, I can be smarter with my time. So that was the first. I would say you don't even have to go that drastic. You could maybe just do something as simple as Instacart, right? Grocery shopping takes me at least an hour every week, maybe even two, depending if I have to do multiple grocery stores. Because I don't know about you, I like to go to the main grocery store like Harris Teeter or Publix. And then I have to go to Whole Foods to get some things. And then I have to go to Trader Joe's to get some things. So there's like grocery shopping is a lot. And maybe I don't use Instacart for everything, but maybe one or two of the three that I need to go to get everything for the household. So something as simple as using Instacart can also take something that you really don't enjoy. I mean, I like grocery shopping. I do like to feel my produce, but I also can't make it there every week. So to me, that was another strategy to create time and really paying attention to what I love to do and what I want to use my time to do. Okay. So those were two. Now I've since gone beyond and realized that, okay, I'm in a busy season of my life. I need to have a chef. It's not that I don't love to cook. I actually really enjoy cooking. It's the ideation of the cooking. I really don't enjoy the meal planning. I get stuck in the ideation. So if somebody gave me a meal plan, actually, I could get it done. I could get all the groceries, follow the recipe, do it. But there's right now I'm in a really busy season of my life and I I need a chef who comes in and makes my family dinner Wednesdays and Thursdays. He comes in on Wednesday and makes me 2 meals, leaves it in my fridge. And what's great about it is he does the grocery shopping, he cooks, puts it all in glass containers, puts it in my fridge, and then he cleans up and leaves. Like that is a huge time saver. And it's not that expensive. He's so reasonable. And so not only do I get 2 meals for a party of 5, he even makes me lunch on the day he comes in, and it's super delicious. It saves me so much time. I don't have to go to the grocery store. I don't have to cook it myself. I don't have to clean up. He does all of that. Plus, it's super healthy. So it's soy free, it's corn free, it's gluten free, it's dairy free. And so it's super healthy. So I know that I am also taking care of my health. So my mindset shifts around this as well. And I realize that the investment is totally worth it. I'm not just saving time, but I'm also respecting my body. So knowing your zone of genius is super valuable. Realize it and start putting it to work. And just pay attention to how you feel anytime you do a thing. Maybe it's the simplest thing. There's a way to make it better. Number 2 is delegating decision making. Instead of being a bottleneck, start to empower others to make decisions within their lane. Now, this does require trust. And I feel like trust can sometimes be a barrier for a lot of people. I will tell you, I had major trust issues, especially in my practice for the longest time. And once I started to work on that and started to empower my team, I realized that I didn't have to do everything. So now I started out kind of in the personal bucket. Now I'm going to take you into the professional bucket because I think empowering the people around you, if you own a business, is really, really important. Helping them understand their value is really the key to success. And realizing that other people also have a zone of genius. And when multiple zone of geniuses come together, that's when the real magic happens. So I started to empower my team at the office. Now, some of you may not have one, but I'm going to tell you, you probably should start building one. If you have a business, you should probably start having a team just to start with like the menial tasks. I would love it if you know how to do every task because that'll also give you some mental peace. But if you can make sure you can understand how to show people what your expectations are of that task. And then what I like to do when I'm empowering a team member, I don't ever assume their mastery. I always witness their mastery. I understand that everybody has different ways of learning. And so you have to figure out, how does this individual learn? Are they an auditory learner? Are they a visual learner? Are they a hands-on learner? How do they learn? And then watch them. Teach them and then let them show it back to you. And if they can show it back to you with mastery, then that's amazing. That will help you if you have trust issues like I do. I like to help guide them, so I give them, and we're going to talk about number 3, which is using templates and SOPs. SOPs are standard operating procedures. But if you have something that you want to give away, right? And you have people that you are starting to trust, you're starting to empower them, which I think is such an incredible way of really taking things off your plate to give you more, not just physical time, but also just headspace, mental headspace, so that you're not cloudy. It's really important. And if you have trust issues, this is the way to do it. Create an SOP. Maybe it's a checklist, maybe it's a workflow. Type it out. I love doing this for people because I'm like, okay, this is really how I expect it to be done. This is, if you do it this way, hey, you're going to make me happy. And there's really not going to be disappointment, right? Because people understand how you want this particular thing done. So SOPs are a great way to empower a team. And I recommend doing it, whether it's you're trying to teach your nanny how to do something. Maybe like I personally like my towels folded in a certain way, so it looks pretty in the closet. Call me crazy, but I can't expect somebody to know that without me showing them. So I show them, and they might not do it the right way the first couple of times. And that's why I don't want to assume the mastery, but I want to witness the mastery. So show them, maybe write out the steps and then have those handy, because you never know when you may need to train somebody new, right? So when you start doing this and people start doing things in the way that you really like them to do it, for me, that's my love language. Acts of service is one of my biggest love languages. That creates a relationship that is unwavering. And that relationship is what helps empower the team. So create a team and love them like crazy and show them that you love them because you want them to succeed and you empower them. Okay. So, number one was knowing your genius. Number two was delegating decision making, because once you empower your team, they will help you make decisions. And I've already kind of revealed that for me, decision making fatigue, ideation fatigue can be a big thing. And that's what exhausts me. So I pay attention to that and I have to help people help me. Okay. And number three is using templates and SOPs. So when you, again, are maybe giving somebody a repeatable task, you really want to make sure you document this. And for example, like there's nothing more I hate than a team meeting where we spend so much time hashing out a solution, and now we have the solution, we have the steps, but then nobody captured that solution. Nobody captured that workflow, nobody captured those steps. And then the same problem continues to happen. Do you see how that could be wasting time? Right? So when we're at a team meeting, I always make sure, okay, somebody is writing and then we are capturing the solution. And then we're making sure that everyone understands collectively that solution. We train it. And then again, we witness the mastery. We don't assume the mastery, but we witness the mastery. And so we don't have that repeated problem. So, for example, there's like other things like how to clear the video card on my camera, like that's recording this. Like I don't do it that often. And so I'm going to figure it out once. I'm going to realize by the time I have to do it again, I'm not going to remember how to do it. So instead of wasting the time and the energy to do the research and find out how to do it, I'm just going to create that workflow for me. And I'm going to know exactly where that workflow is. And then the next time I have to do the thing, I'm going to refer back to that workflow. It's as simple as that. So I've started to do that all the time. Anytime I had to do research to find a solution, whether it's a team meeting or where it's simply just at my desk, I will make sure, okay, well, that took a lot of time and energy to figure out. I want to document how to do that so that the next time I have to do it, because I know I'm going to have to do it, it's so much easier for me and I save time. Okay. Because I know myself and I get super frustrated and I don't want to feel frustrated. That's not the feeling. That's not the vibration that I want to hang out in. So if I can prevent frustration, I'm going to be a happier human. Okay. Number four is automate routine tasks. Do what you can. Maybe it's like paying some bills automatically so you're never delinquent, right? Or you just, again, don't enjoy doing it. I realized recently I do not enjoy uploading my bank statements to my accountant. And therefore I procrastinate. So procrastination can also be a sign of something that you don't like to do. And so I want to find a way where things can now sync up, and then every month the system does that for me. So that's something that I would invest in so that my accountants get my paperwork on time. I'm not the one uploading it, because that's like, it's at least 30 minutes. Again, I'd rather take a nap. I'd rather read a book. I'd rather have coffee. I'd rather do something else than upload my bank statements. So whatever you can automate, automate. So automating routine tasks is one of my favorite ways to find little pockets of time. And if you think about it, every 15 minutes kind of adds up. In the end, you might have an extra hour in the day, and maybe you just want to watch a show. Again, I think maybe I am lazy. No, I'm just strategic. Number 5 is hiring somebody, hiring a VA or a personal assistant, or maybe a house manager or somebody who can do a little bit of childcare and a little bit of house managing is something that you can, again, clear off maybe 5 to 10 hours a week and free up some headspace or maybe just some space in your inbox. So, again, this requires trust. This requires some initial energy to train. And then once people are trained, you get all of a sudden this extra space. So think about it. I do find that some people have a little resistance in this department because, again, trust issues. But if you can find a way to really make sure that you can show people the way that you desire things to be done, then this can actually be an easy hack. Number 6 is batching and theming your days. So you can group similar tasks together. Maybe you answer all your emails once a week. Maybe you have all your meetings once a week and take all your calls. Maybe you run all your errands once a week. And that way you kind of reduce mental switching because mental switching requires energy and can exhaust you. And by doing this, you can really improve your efficiency. So, for example, on Wednesdays, I run my online team and therefore I'm at my computer. And what I hate is when I have 30 minutes of time in between like calls. And this way, because then I'm like, I can't really get into flow, right? I can't get into flow for that 30 minutes to then mentally switch to another task. So I would rather just have a few back-to-back calls. Obviously, I need a potty break in there, or I need to make sure that I coordinate lunch in there. But I would rather have all of my calls, all of my meetings on Wednesday because that is a heavy meeting day. I'd like to see all my patients on Monday and maybe Tuesday, and then Thursday, Friday. Thursday, I like to leave it for more creativity because I just want to have a whole block of time where I can get into flow. And then Friday is a little bit more like fun, like make room for friends, go have coffee or go have lunch with somebody. So, batching and theming your days can also be really helpful. Number 7 is my version of a to do list. And I know some people say don't have a to do list, but for me, it really works. And so at the beginning of the week, I make a list of all the things that I need to get done. And then I batch them on the days. And I find that recently I have to really follow up with a lot of people, which kind of is, oh, I wish I didn't, but I have to follow up with people. And so I utilize my to do list as my follow up plan as well. So I'll have a planner. I have any planner, and then I just do it by the week. And I have this long list of things that I need to get done that week. So it's really helpful if you can do this like on a Sunday night, or maybe if you need to do it on Monday morning, it's great. But if I like to use my mornings, like really go strong in my mornings because that's when I'm the most productive. So I like to have this list done before my day starts. So I'll have my list done and then I'll group what's on the list and I'll break it up into days. And I'll say, okay, well, these are simple things that I can get done. These are like little emails that I have to write. Maybe my list is like 15 things long. I'll make sure that I don't overdo it, but I'll do a little bit on Monday, a little bit on Tuesday, but they're kind of all related tasks. And then that way I don't get stuck again in the ideation of what to do. My week starts with already having that plan. And I give myself grace too. If I can't get to every checklist, if I can't get to everything on that list, I just simply cross it out and then I move it to another day. And maybe that day isn't the next consecutive day because all of a sudden something else came up because and now that's a lower priority. I'll make sure that the high priority things get done earlier in the week and the lower priority things go and later in the week or maybe even to the next week. And then if I have to follow up with somebody, I use that same calendar and I sent the email, but I know I'm going to forget that I sent that email. I'm going to then take the follow up, put it on a day, maybe 2 weeks into the future, so that when I get to that day, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to see if that person responded to me. And if they did, great, I can just cross it off. And if they didn't, then I have to reach back out. So I've actually gotten a lot done using this method of just having my tasks, prioritizing my tasks, and then kind of grouping them and spreading them out over the week so I don't feel overwhelmed. And then again, I give myself grace where if I don't get to everything, that's okay. I can just put it on to another day where it makes more sense. Okay. So it's a great time hack. I don't get stuck in that mental rut. I don't, get stuck in that ideation. I don't just sit there. I'm really utilizing my time. And that way I don't have to work 8 hours a day. Maybe I can get all of this done in 4 hours and have 4 hours to do something else. Maybe not work all the time. Number 8 is prioritizing and saying no. So time to me is more important than money. And it's not just about what you do, it's about what you don't do. So saying no to some things sometimes really creates space for what truly matters. To me, it's got to be a whole body yes. So I used to over give myself for speaking engagements and giving lectures and, doing all sorts of things. And it really thinned me out. And that was really hard. And I realized, okay, I'm going to pay attention to how that's making me feel. And I don't love it. I'm good at it, but I don't love it. And so it kind of fell in that one quadrant on the bottom left. And so I said, okay, why don't I limit my speaking engagements? I only really like to travel because traveling when you have 3 kids at home is very difficult. Number one, I don't feel like it's very fair to my husband if I'm always gone to take care of, he also works and he's also taking care of the kids. I feel like, okay, I had these kids too, and I should be taking care of them. So it's hard for me to leave my family. And so I made a limit. I'm like, okay, only going to accept 4 speaking engagements a year. I'll be happy to do it once a quarter, but they have to be like hell yes speaking engagements. And if it's not, then that's fine. I don't think people realize that I'm totally happy sitting on my ass too. So saying no can also free up a lot of time. And that's been huge for me because I've spent a lot of time doing things that other people wanted me to do. And I just kind of felt like I needed to be a yes woman in the moment. But now that I kind of put a little bit more of a barrier on that, I find that I'm doing things that really light me up when I'm leaving my family and leaving town. So remember that. Do things that are a total hell yes. All right. And number 9 is charging your worth. I think charging your worth is probably one of those things that people don't like to talk about, let's be honest, but we really should talk about it more. When I was building my practice and I was accepting all these really low reimbursement insurances, I was working really hard and providing an amazing service, but really not getting compensated well. And once I realized, so my version of this is okay, I started dropping dental insurance plans. It doesn't mean that I can't see you. I can certainly see you. I can certainly treat you, but I don't necessarily need to be in a contract with your insurance. And all of a sudden, I started to kind of weed out the people that only were not even really there for me. They were just there because I was convenient. And I saw that it didn't really make great relationships, but I realized I had to adjust my business model to reflect my value. And when you are getting paid your value, you show up differently. I feel like I heal people differently. I feel like they get a better outcome from me because I feel more valued. And so this was a huge, mindset shift for me. And I'm so happy I did it because now instead of working 5 days a week, I'm working 5 to 6 days a month, and I'm actually making more in revenue. So again, like I had this when I wanted to take time away from the office because I had a child, I had this guilt. Like, oh, I'm not making it as much money. I am not going to be able to afford this and that. I was stuck in this lack mentality when I didn't need to be. And instead I shifted into this abundance and I was like, okay, well, if I'm just going to increase how I'm being paid, I'm going to because I feel like that is more aligned with what I deliver, and I started to feel that alignment. And then all of a sudden I started not attracting people who weren't aligned with me. And then obviously I was more productive in a given day. And that allowed me to have more time for my family. It allowed me to have more time for a lot of other things too. And so think about how you're feeling when you're walking into work. Think about how you're feeling when you're delivering your service, your gift. Are you really in true alignment? Or does something need to be adjusted? Do you feel like you are undervalued and maybe a shift needs to happen? I really think charging your worth is a big part of this conversation. And we'll probably talk about this a little bit more on future episodes. But charging my worth really gave me a lot of time that was so needed, and time to rest too. And so my final hack is really redefining productivity and utilizing some of your time for rest, reflection, and play. Because when you give yourself time, because when I talk to dentists or other high performing individuals about what they want in their life, they say, I don't know, because they've never given themselves time to really think about it. And then all of a sudden, their entire life passes them by and they didn't do the things that they wanted to do. So when you give yourself time to rest, sometimes that's where all the creative ideas come from. That's where you get re-energized. This can really shift your entire approach to time. This is not time wasted. This is, in my opinion, the best time spent. So make sure when you're creating this time that you utilize some of this time for that rest, for that reflection, and for that play. All right, guys, I'm going to give a little recap on these top 10 things. Number 1 is knowing your zone of genius. Number 2 is delegating decision making. Number 3 is using templates and SOPs. Number 4 is automating routine tasks. Number 5 is hire a VA or a personal assistant. Number 6 is batching and theming your days. Number 7 was my little version of a to-do list. Number 8 is prioritizing and saying no. Number 9 is charging your worth. And number 10 is redefining productivity. All right. I hope that you enjoyed this episode all about time and finding ways to create space and time in your life. It was definitely something that really helped me in the beginning. And so I like to be a time genius in my world. So if you could reflect today on where are some of the areas in your life that could bring you more peace, more mental clarity, and more time for fun and play and with your loved ones, what would you write down? Thank you again. I'm so happy you're here today, and I so look forward to our next conversation together. See you soon.